Okay. All right. Hey, looking forward to obviously looking forward to this is an incredible time if you're a college basketball fan, player, coach. It's an incredible time of the year. It's a party that not everybody gets an invitation to, and we recognize that. I'm happy for our guys that they get to play meaningful games here in March, and they've certainly earned the right. We were not sure on what our seating was going to be. We anticipated it probably would be somewhere in that range, but for us to now be an NCAA tournament team 5 straight years, when you include the COVID year when we were going to be probably a 5 or a 6 seed, depending on how the Big Ten tournament went. There's only been one other stretch since 1965 in Ohio State basketball history that's been longer than that, and that was Thad went 7 straight years. So to be able to do it five straight years, and also to be one of 3 Big Ten teams to qualify 5 straight years is is something that I want our guys and our program to feel good about, and we'll move quickly into our preparation for a Loyola team that's that's had a tremendous year and is really talented.
All right, we'll go ahead and start with Adam Jardy and Clay Hall on deck. Adam.
Chris, I just wonder if you could describe what the vibe and the mood was like for the players getting to see their name called, and after a couple 2 tough weeks to see that up there, and like you said, to be a team that is playing meaningful games now. What did that moment feel like for your players?
I think sometimes players, especially here, because we've never not went here. So our guys, even a guy like Kyle, who's been here 5 years, you can kind of just take it for granted. And then you hear from guys from other programs and you realize that that's not the case. And it's not been the case in our history at Ohio State here. So I think you try to emphasize that. I think their mood is good. There wasn't obviously there wasn't any real concern as to getting in or not. So there wasn't too much drama with that, but I think they didn't even really have I don't know if they had an idea necessarily, what kind of seed we were going to be. They just knew we were going to be in.
All right, we'll go to Clay Hall and Colin Gay. Clay.
Hey, Chris, just your reaction to the venue being closed so fans can be there. And does Friday help you in the injury sense?
I think it may. I'll answer your second question first. I think it may. Another day, Clay, for us is certainly needed. And those guys are making progress, and I'll make more statements on that once I have more information. But certainly, if we were going to play in the first 4 tomorrow night, it wouldn't look good for our group. So they just need to continue to make progress. As far as the venue, love the fact that it's 3 hours from Columbus, or I believe that's the case. So love the fact that it's close for our fans, and we'd love to see them on Friday, whatever time we play.
Thank you.
All right, and we'll jump to one from Colin Gay and then Steve Hellwagen. Colin.
Hey, Chris, you said before the Big Ten tournament how you wanted your guys to get better over the course of this past week and get healthier. I mean, do you feel like you guys kind of hit that reality heading into this tournament, or where do you guys kind of stand in those kind of 2 aspects, those 2 goals?
Yeah, I think, healthier and a little more rested for sure. I think better will determine kind of our practices these next 3 days. I think we'll have a better feel for that. Depending on the practice we have. We went today, but we went relatively light, and we won't do a whole lot tomorrow. Our guys will do some skill workouts, but I think that'll be determined the rest of this week.
All right, and we'll go Steve Hellwagen and Griffin Strom. Steve.
Yeah, I know this is all fresh that you're playing Loyola, and I don't know, just what are some of your overall thoughts about that? And sounds like the coach there, Valentine, is one of the up and comers, I guess, in the coaching profession. Just, I don't know, your thoughts on playing them, and maybe, kind of what his MO is, I guess, as a young head coach.
Well, he's I don't know him really well, but obviously he's done a great job. And their program, you had Porter, who just did a phenomenal job there. And obviously they played in the Final Four. What was it, 4 or 5 years ago? So they played in the Final Four and a Sweet 16. And those guys that have been a part of that program, were a part of those. They were a part of those games, and certainly that coaching staff. So we've got tremendous respect for them and their play, and their league's really good. Their league's a really good league. So, I think everybody's well aware of Loyola and Sister Jean from their Final Four run, and we're well aware of how good they are because they just beat the #1 seed in our league last year in Illinois. So we'll dive more into them in the specifics, but they have a lot of players returning from teams that have had a tremendous amount of success.
And I assume you keep all the talk just on this matchup. You don't talk a lot about, oh, we've got to save the season or anything like that. Just what's kind of your message, I guess, to the guys that, coming off a difficult little stretch here, I guess.
Yeah, no, I think you just focus on the next one. I think, listen, you're not in this position if you didn't have really quality play and quality wins throughout the season. You're not a 7 seed without doing that. So that's the reality. And I just shared the numbers of kind of where it's not a given. It's never been a given. So you want your guys to appreciate that, but you're moving on to our guys they know from past experience, from our first year playing a really good South Dakota State team, and then Gonzaga, our second year playing an Iowa State and a Houston team, and last year playing Oral Roberts. You're playing really good teams. And we understand we're going to be playing a really good team.
All right, we'll go Griffin Strom and then Rob Aller. Griffin.
Coach, I'm just wondering how you approach kind of not letting the disappointing end, to the last few games here kind of bleed into the next challenge here. And do you sense maybe a new energy from the team, now that you have the new challenge set here and a chance to kind of right some of those wrongs?
Well, I think, again, the guys are excited about this opportunity and excited about kind of celebrating what they've been able to, the position they've been able to put themselves in. Certainly, we would have liked to have finished the season better than what we did, playing better and healthier for sure. But this is obviously a new, it's a new season. It is postseason, and I think our guys are looking forward to the opportunity to compete on Friday.
And we'll go Rob Aller and then Stephen Means. Rob.
Hey, Chris, and giving a real quick look at Loyola. They don't look real big, but they look experienced with strong guard play. That cliche is this time of season, guard play kind of dictates how you do. Do you buy into that? And if so, why is that so important?
Just the ball's in their hands so much, Rob, and they dictate so much of the game with guards in general. It's harder to initiate offense with a big guy than it is a guard. So I think that adage is true and real. And for us, we're aware of their guards, just again because you've seen them on that stage for a number of years. So I think I've not had a chance to look at the roster backwards and forwards, but I did watch last year their tournament win over Illinois. I did have a chance to watch that, so I'm familiar with some of their personnel.
All right, and then we'll go our last three here. I want to get Coach out to get started on prep. We'll go Stephen Means, Bill Landis, and Adam King. Stephen.
Chris, I know Zed was game time decision before the Penn State game, and I don't even think Kyle was there with you guys. I don't know, how close was Zed to maybe playing in that Penn State game? And is like Kyle with the program still right now?
Yeah, Kyle was in the back. Yeah, he was in the locker room. Yeah, he was in
Okay.
the locker room. So sometimes just the noise and everything, and he just likes watching it in the back. So we gave him that. Zed could have played, but he would not have been near full strength, and his ankle might have prevented him from being able to play this week even. So I think at the end of the day, it was a choice, you make, right or wrong. It just was kind of a choice we made with the medical staff that he was going to sit that one out.
All right, and last two from Bill Landis and Adam King. Bill.
Chris, you mentioned at the top there the 5 straight tournaments and kind of how that should never be taken for granted. It's also, I don't think it's ever been this long that Ohio State hasn't advanced, past the first weekend either. And I know that's not all your tenure, but I'm just kind of wondering how that frames your mind at all. And like you talked last year about taking that step forward, and not saying you need to guarantee a Sweet 16 berth or anything here, but just how does that kind of frame your mind as you go into this tournament?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something you're always aware of when I've obviously my last year at Butler, we coached in a Sweet 16. It's an incredible experience to be able to get through the first weekend and move on to the next opponent. North Carolina beat us that particular year. I think, and they went on to win the national championship. I just think all in all, I think our focus is on kind of the nuts and bolts of trying to improve in those areas we have to improve in, Bill, and the rest of it, will take care of itself. That's really our focus right now. We're not necessarily talking about, anything other than that right now.
And I don't know if this has been explicitly said anywhere. There's no chance Justice plays, right? He's done for the year.
Yeah, no, I should probably go ahead and we should probably go ahead and put a statement out, but I'll just leave it at we do not anticipate him playing on Friday. So.
All right, we'll go with Adam King. Adam.
If there's a couple more, I can maybe do a couple more. Here.
All right, we'll get Adam King and Doug Lees-Maurice then. Adam.
Coach, obviously last year you guys are a 2 seed. Things don't go the right way in the first round. Is there a different mindset coming in as a 7 seed, as a lower seed? And is there a mindset after coming off that anything can't happen in the tournament and, just go and do your job, seeing what happened last year?
Yeah, no, I think that's a realization that kids understand if they've been a part of a game like that, where they've been a part of an upset, whether it's in the regular season or in the postseason. You realize how quickly something like that your season can be over. You also realize how good other teams are that you may not be familiar with, you may not see on a regular basis. They're older typically, as was that team. They've typically played for a number of years together, typically as that team was, as the Loyola team we're playing now, older, experienced guys that have played together for a number of years. So, hopefully that helps inform our guys in terms of what to expect even more. But I know our guys have great, they have great appreciative respect for everybody that's in this tournament. It's just unique because we haven't had a ton of guys on our roster that have played because of the COVID year. When obviously we would have been in it, but it's, I think that experience is helpful.
Is there any part of you that talks to the guys about the fact that while you don't have a 2 or a 1 or a 3 next to your name, anything can happen here?
Well, we've had those conversations. We had those, we owned last year. We had those conversations during the summer. We talked about it. I think our guys, they've talked about it plenty. I think that's the reality. It's not like there's going to be plenty of upsets. We know that. That's March Madness. It's 40 minutes. There's going to be plenty of them. What we can control is what our preparation, our focus is heading into Friday.
We'll go Doug Lees-Maurice, and we'll get one more with Brendan Gulick there to finish up. Doug.
Hey, Chris, I know you've talked about this, but again, the idea that all 5 years for you, you've had 5 NCAA tournament teams here. Feels like you get in and then immediately you get the prep and we get to like what's going to happen next. But if you could just expand on that, like how much of a threshold is this? 350 teams want to be in, 68 are in. How much of a threshold is making the tournament year after year for a coach, for a program? But what really is the context of that?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I think it's a benchmark for every program, whether you're a smaller school, a mid-major, or a high major, and certainly, for us and for many other programs, you're working really hard to advance. It's not like there's an appreciation for how hard it is. When I shared those numbers, to be honest with you, I was surprised that there were only 3 Big Ten teams that had went for 5 years or would have went for 5 years. I just assumed, Purdue would have been in that group, but Purdue wasn't going to go the COVID year unless they won the Big Ten tournament. I just assumed that Wisconsin would have been in that group, but Wisconsin didn't go, I think, our first year. So there's assumptions, I think, that are made. You can rightfully assume. I mean, Tom's, I don't think he's went every year in the last 25 years. But so there's an appreciation for that. And then obviously a real hunger, to advance and to play well. And I think that's the challenge. But every coach will tell you he wants to get in this big party that you only get an invitation to, or you earn the right to through your conference tournament. And, I've had our guys share, they have come from other schools, share experiences of what it's like to either be on spring break on Selection Sunday, or back home with your family on Selection Sunday, or just, you kind of avoid it because it's out there and you got buddies who are playing in it, but you're not going to be in it. It can be a miserable experience for kids. And, we've had a difficult stretch, so we wanted to enjoy this moment and then move to working towards Loyola.
All right, and then we'll finish up with Brendan Gulick. Brendan.
Coach, thanks for taking some time with us. Just want to ask you about the strength of schedule you guys have had this year. You told us a lot at the beginning of the year that you thought you put together maybe the hardest schedule that you guys had ever put together, during your tenure here. I'm just wondering if you think about, where the team is today, the opportunities officially here, you're playing in March Madness, what you get in the league every year, but how much gratitude, do you have, or does the team express to each other about, hey, we played Duke already. We played some of these teams that, we really expected were going to push us to get ready for moments like this.
I think, our guys, they know that they played a challenging league schedule and a challenging non-conference schedule. And then we do that every year for a reason. And to be honest with you, I may change my philosophy. I mean, I don't know. I look at some of the metrics behind some of these things, and wins really do matter. I'm going to have to look at that in the off season, but at the end of the day, I think, we did try to challenge ourselves, and we took a couple on the chin there in the non-conference and certainly at the end of the conference season. But, that doesn't that guarantees you that I think you're weathered a little bit as a group. But it doesn't guarantee you anything, because we know, again, we're playing a really good team on Friday. So I think it helps that you've been tested. I think it does weather you some, but you got to play well, on opening night.
All right. Coach, thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, guys. Thank you.